These are the tong blanks that I drew out in my last video. And here are the top and bottom swage, or you might call them tenon tools, that I said I was working on. I just butted up equal sized blocks and drilled in between. Then I had the welder weld these various pieces together. He didn't do a great job welding. I think he was in a bit of a rush. Kind of out of square and doesn't sit flush, but it's no big deal. I'll be able to take care of that. So this one here is 12 millimeter round, and I have another smaller one that's 10 millimeter. I've got handles on the top pieces, but I intend to change that. I found a piece of pipe, and I'd like to weld that on to the bottom and then use pins for the top piece, so this way I don't have to use my hand to hold that. I can have both hands free, and I can, have one hand holding the tong as I work that piece. But for now, I'll just use them as is and see how they work. The steel I use for these is 1050 medium carbon. I just quench the swage parts when at critical temperature and not the welds. I need to straighten out and have this sit more flush, and this is the 12 millimeter swage bottom. I need to give a big shout out to John Korb Jr. He purchased a tool from me and then added quite a bit to the total amount. And I also need to thank Stephen Minion Watkins for his latest super thanks donation. Thanks, fellas, for keeping the fire burning. It fits much better now. You'll recall I drew these reins out to approximately 11.5 millimeters, and this top and bottom swage is 12, but the rein is not completely 11.5. It's 12 and a little bit above in some spots. So I can get it a little bit more round, but not completely. Sorry for my hairy arm in the foreground. If I had had the top and bottom swage before I drew the reins, I would have left them a little bit heavier than 12 millimeter. But this definitely improves them. So now I get silly and I just want to see if I work the 14 millimeter round stock directly, what will happen. My initial thought is that I'm probably going to draw out flanges on each side. I shortened this clip because of the hairy situation. So after a few strikes, I'm surprised with the resulting texture. Because I'm not directly holding this oversized piece, what's happening is it's rotating as I hammer and putting in very straight, uniform lines. It's actually increased the diameter, and it's just added this very pleasant appearance that I know I can use on certain projects. I'm a big fan of texture, and for me this was pleasantly unexpected. So when I have a new tool, even something simple like this, I often just grab a piece and hammer it this way and that way and see what the results are, if it's something else that I might be able to use. you put one hole in each flat part, that might be pretty cool to hold up a hook. This really is just completely freestyling and not really thinking. And that's pretty easy for me to do. The not thinking part, that is. Okay, it's an odd shape. Not too sure what I can do with that. So I still plan to make the change with these tools so that I don't have to use them with a handle. Someone is going to look at this and say that's the beginnings of something. That someone is probably not me. Now this, on the other hand, I feel could be useful for sure. With further work, this could create a nice natural look on round bars. In fact, for these tong handle ends, I can use the smaller 10mm top and bottom swage set to impart that same texture before I work on this tong in my next video. So I'll put this interesting texture on my tong handle ends right now. The only thing I've got to look out for is because the blanks now are not perfectly round, they might not rotate as freely. It looks real good. It looks even more organic because the bars are not perfectly round. And the lines are not perfectly even. So I promise I'll turn these tong blanks into a functioning tong in my next video. In the meantime, you guys can probably think of different uses for this on your own projects. And if you do anything with this, then feel free to share that with me. Thanks for watching another, and I'll catch you guys next time.